Alright, so we have another unboxing from SpeedCubeShop, and you can see we have a bunch of cool new things in this one. We have the SM, the mini Valk, the Floppy ghost cube from YJ, and the only relatively old puzzle is this Diane Octahedron. So we'll get into this and see all that we have in this order. Alright, so first up is this Diane Octahedron. And so this one, I don't think they really make anymore, but it was really cool to see this on SpeedCubeShop's site, so I figured might as well get it. Here it is, pretty odd color scheme, but I've never had an octahedron, so I guess I didn't really know too much about that. So this one is a corner turning octahedron, so it turns along these vertices here. It has a kind of snapping mechanism to it. Yeah, but are there ball bearings in here? I don't think so. But yeah, turning is really stiff, really sluggish. You can hear some spring noise too. Classic Diane spring noise. But yeah, this one is gonna be pretty cool to solve. I have no idea how to go about solving it. I figure it's kind of similar to the Pyraminx in a way. So I guess we'll just go ahead and scramble this up since I'm gonna do that anyway. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to break it in, or maybe a few drops of cosmic lube to speed this up, because if the turning continues to be like this, it's gonna be a pretty frustrating solving experience. And that's kind of why I like good turning on non-WCA puzzles. It's not that I want to speed solve or anything, it's just that I want to get an enjoyable solve out of it, you know? So I'm just gonna go ahead and call that scrambled. It looks really cool. I'm honestly not too big of a fan of the color scheme, but I think it still looks pretty cool either way, and so that is the Diane Octahedron. Alright, next up, this one is the YJ Floppy Ghost Cube, and when I first saw this, I actually thought it was pretty similar to the Megaminx, but I guess just something about it makes it more Ghost Cube-like. So here it is. I chose the silver sticker option, but yeah, that looks really cool. It has those brushed mirror stickers. I think even though it is just a floppy cube, I feel like it should be pretty difficult. And so, is it a floppy cube? I guess it kind of is, but it doesn't seem like it's really meant to be because it gets bandaged up there. But yeah, this one is really cool so far. And yeah, you can definitely tell when it's scrambled, but honestly, it's kind of a hard distinction when you're just in the midst of solving it. So we'll just go ahead and scramble this up and let's see how it looks. Yeah, the overall turning isn't bad. It's a floppy cube, it's kind of sluggish, but it overall turns really well. It's YJ. They make pretty okay quality puzzles. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I think the first thing you would have to do is orient these centers, which I think is gonna take some time for me. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error, but I think it'll still be pretty cool. So yeah, I'll play around with this, see how it goes, and I'll get back to you guys. And no, this is not an iPhone as the size of the packaging suggests. This is the new mini Valk 3, and I decided to pick it up in stickerless. So here is the actual cube. Yeah, it feels really cool, really small, of course. Underneath this pamphlet are some replacement pieces. So yeah, that is definitely really cool. But I think it's kind of alarming since Qiyi, I guess, thinks that we're gonna break them. So I'm hoping I don't have to resort to using any of those, but it's still a really cool add-on. I think it's really thoughtful of Qiyi to add that. So into the actual cube, this one, it's 4.74 millimeters. Wow, that is so cool. Yeah, definitely smaller than you would think. Turning is great. It turns just like a Valk, of course. Yeah, really nice. It has a sort of sandy feeling out of the box, but the Valk turning is overall pretty smooth. It has the kind of hollow and crispy feeling because of the hollowed out corners. But yeah, it overall feels really nice. In terms of it being an OH cube, I honestly don't really have too much authority on that since I don't really do OH, but I think just taking a look at the size and it being in my hand, I feel like it would be a little bit too small for OH. I know a lot of people tend to use 55. I personally use 50, and even though this is just like 3 millimeters smaller than 50, I can definitely tell the difference in the hands. It's a little bit more harder to control, but overall the turning is really good. So I'll just have to play around with this more. This could have potential to be my OH main. I'll have to see if I can trade off that 3 millimeters for better performance. But yeah, overall it turns really well. Corner cutting, just like a Valk, it does 45, but on these tensions, it's having a little trouble doing that. I have to use a little bit more force. Reverse is really good too. So yeah, overall, really just a smaller Valk. The mechanism is the exact same. And yeah, going back again, if you're looking for a new OH cube, I don't think I can really recommend this just because it's so much more expensive than like a 50mm cubing classroom. And you can't really use it as a two-handed cube either, so there's not that dual capability of a 55mm puzzle, but overall, really cool novelty item, and I'll be playing around with this. And the last puzzle in this order, the Gans Air SM. I am super excited for this one. You guys know that I don't really like Gans puzzles, but this one I've heard is really, really good, so I'm definitely super excited to see how it is. And with this cube, it came with a lot of accessories. We've got some GES nuts here and some really fancy packaging, and it also came of course with a velvet Gans blue bag and this big pamphlet with some AUGs and such. So yeah, this one will be really cool, super helpful it seems like, but I am here for the puzzle, so let's just go ahead and get into this. And yeah, I definitely really like this packaging. It seems a little bit more practical than that giant two-piece design they have. Just has a simple sleeve there and a really cool case that I think doubles as a carrying compartment. So here is the actual cube. That's super exciting. And I guess it has that printing on there. I'm not really sure what that is. It says 10 anniversary. But yeah, that looks really cool. So now getting into the actual puzzle, let's check this out. So in terms of the weight, yeah, definitely light like all the other Gans Airs. It is just a tiny bit more hefty though, since it does have those added magnets in there. So let's just go ahead and get into the turning. Wow, that's really nice. So I have tried the Gans Air before, and the magnets in this are definitely a lot better. They're much more suitable for the air. The Gans Air magnets, they were just a little bit too strong, and it was hard to control the puzzle, ironically. And with this, the magnets are just much more suitable. It feels very nice. It's not really obstructing the turning at all, but you can still feel the magnets and the stability they provide, which is really, really nice. And the actual feeling is very smooth, of course. It's very smooth, and it's surprisingly very quiet. It's very soft feeling. And so what I actually didn't like about the Air was that it just had a lot of catching. So I'll have to see if that is the case for this puzzle too, but based on the corner cutting, it's very effortless to do, so hopefully it's not going to catch as much. 45 is a little bit harder to do for some reason. Tensions, I guess they're sort of tight, not really, but I'll have to play around with the springs. With this one, it comes with the blue springs. And it has that fancy GAN logo on there. So that is really cool. Let's check out some of these other GES packaging things. So this one is the S series and this one is the G series. Go ahead and open both of these up here. Yeah, it has that new really fancy case for it. I think it's kind of unnecessary. You could have just put it in a plastic bag for me, honestly. It just takes up a lot of room with all this plastic and packaging. But I appreciate the design, it looks cool. So let's see if we can open this up efficiently enough. Alright, finally here are the springs. So because it does come with equipped with the blue ones, they replaced it with the clear ones in this packaging. So we have the purple and green alongside that. And then in the middle here we have that tensioning tool. So I guess it comes with 2 of the tensioning tools, which is really cool. Let's see if I can open this one in a shorter amount of time. Alright, and here are the S series springs. We have red, orange, and yellow, and another tensioning tool. And yeah, I'll definitely have to play around with these. I heard that these are actually a little bit softer. I'm not really sure what exactly the difference is between these and the older ones, but I'll definitely be playing around with them and see which one of these sets fits my turning style a little bit better for the cube. Alright, so getting back to this puzzle, turning and performance seems pretty good out of the box. I'll have to see how it does in an actual solving situation, but I really like the pure turning right now. And with this one, I'm sure you've heard of the new honeycomb sort of design it has, and I think it looks really cool. I'm sure it has something to do with just reducing the friction between the pieces. So here it is. Yeah, really cool honeycomb design. I think it looks really, really nice. And then the edges, you can see it there. So yeah, that is really cool, really innovative. And there are magnets in here, and what I've heard actually is that they've implemented slots, and so the magnets are not held in by glue. They've put in some new kind of slots, and the caps that are on these pieces push them in and keep them in place. So I definitely think that's a really good idea. You don't have to worry about the glue drying out or the magnets falling out. And this just gives you a longer lasting magnetic cube. You don't have to worry about dropping it and ruining the puzzle too much. So overall impressions out of the box, I definitely think it turns well. It's definitely a little bit more preferable than other Gans puzzles that I've tried. But I'll have to see how the catching situation is, because it still has those classic squared off corners like all modern 3x3s. And I don't know if it's just my turning style, but on Gans puzzles, I have a tendency to get a lot of catches, which is why I didn't use the air as my main. And so just based on my first impressions out of the box, and still considering that this hasn't been set up yet, is it worth the $50 price tag? I definitely do not think so. I mean, you can get a GTS 2M or Valk 3 for like $20 or so, and I think that those have pretty comparable performance to this. Now, reiterating, this is not yet set up, so I do have that in consideration, but even so, when you do set up Gans puzzles, with these new GES springs, I don't think that lubing them makes a huge difference, but I'll still set this puzzle up. I'll still see how it is after some lubing and tensioning. But right now, I really do not think it's worth $50. And even compared to the Air UM, it's not that much of an upgrade, honestly. And you really just don't need to spend that much on a 3x3. Even if you're like a world-class solver, I think you can get pretty much the same times on a $20 Valk or GTS 2, or perhaps even the $5 Yushin Little Magic, I don't know. But $50, I think that is just way too pricey for a 3x3 in my opinion. I mean, I definitely don't want to degrade the performance of this right now. I do think that it is good, but I don't think it's good enough to be worth $50. But I'll still solve with it, I'll set it up, see how it is, and develop some more well-rounded opinions of it. But overall, I don't really recommend it. Alright, so that is about it for this unboxing. You can see I went ahead and tried to solve this YJ Floppy Ghost Cube, and this one is surprisingly pretty difficult. I still have to figure out how to switch these corners, because I'm pretty sure that is where they go. But yeah, a lot of trial and error. I'll still have to mess around with this. And if you're worrying about it being too easy, I definitely don't think it's just split second, you've got it. It's actually requires a little bit of thinking, honestly. Valk 3, really cool, really fun. Performs just like a Valk 3, of course, just a miniature size. But yeah, really cool. I don't think it's going to be suitable for OH, really, but it's a really cool novelty item, and it's just really fun to have. And the Diane Octahedron, it honestly doesn't really turn super well, but I'm gonna figure out how to solve it, and it should be pretty fun. It is kind of an older puzzle, so if you're into that type of thing, then definitely go for it. I think the SpeedCubeShop is running out of these on the site. And so as for the Gans Air SM, I had my little rant about it just now, but it's definitely not a bad puzzle. I just don't think it's worth that much money, you know? You've got so many good options nowadays, like the $5 Yushin Little Magic, the Valk 3. But if you're a big fan of Gans, then maybe you might want to look into this. But if you're looking for a new 3x3 main, I honestly think the GTS2M or even the Yushin Little Magic, honestly, those are really good. But yeah, I'll definitely have to get a update video about this cube pretty soon, so look out for that video. But nonetheless, I hope you guys did enjoy this unboxing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.